Awesome. So I'm back here at the West Hants Historical Society today, this time by the General Store exhibit. And this exhibit kind of pays homage and remembers the time when, automobiles weren't really normalized yet. Everyone didn't have one, and you couldn't go to a regional center like Windsor or New Minas to, go to a bunch of specialty stores and get everything you need. There had to be one general store in each rural community that was kind of there to supply everything for everyone and to support everyone in the town for, whatever they might need, that they couldn't just travel anywhere for. So we've got a lot of different cool pieces that we're going to start talking about. And I'm here with Dawn, who is very important to this exhibit. And you'll notice that, we've got some signage from Centre Burlington, and a lot of these pieces are from Centre Burlington. So Dawn, can you explain to us the significance of this exhibit to yourself?
Well, the significance of this exhibit is, I guess when I was growing up, I thought that we had sort of a special life where we owned a general store. But when I think about it now, and particularly when I read this book that probably gave us the idea to put this exhibit together, I realized that our life was special for us, but special for a lot of families who had rural country stores. So this book, Mike Parker came to our store and we spent 4 hours, and I'm really happy with the book because it goes all over Nova Scotia. It's a great coffee table piece. It's a great present for somebody, a great birthday present, a great Christmas present, and we sell copies of it here at the museum. Maybe the first item that is quite special to me is what I call the Saturday night bench. So this bench was in our store, and older men from the rural back roads would come out and exchange stories about their day, about their season, about their work, maybe their families, and they would sit usually with their elbows on their knees, and they would tease each other, and it was just great to be able to hear the sounds of their voices, and the air would be blue with cigar smoke, and not cigarette smoke, but with pipe smoke as well. And it was really quite an interesting thing to experience. Here's a little locally produced book, and with permission from the daughter of this man, James E. Sanford, she allowed us to photocopy some little excerpts from the book. So this James E. Sanford used to come to the store, and he has a section in the book called A New Store Owner. When I was small, I could hardly wait when I was big enough to walk to the store in Centre Burlington. It was run by Robbie Harvey and his wife. Very soon he sold it to Walter Salter and his wife Bertha, and they ran a good store. So these are a few owners before our family had it, and it's just interesting to read the observations that he wrote. He had most everything in his store. Smoked ham he cured himself, and of course bologna. Bologna in those days and ham didn't have to be put in a fridge because nobody had one. They kept good in the back of the store where it was cool. So he talks about going up to the store on Saturday nights, and he says Walter's store used to be a great place to gather on a Saturday night, and the older people would gather there and talk about farming and working in the woods. I used to listen to them, and anyone could learn different ways of doing different jobs. So one night he had gone up to the store, and the store owner asked him to, along with some of the other men, do some hauling of feed bags up into the shed. And when he was done, he said, sometimes Saturday night I would buy a can of whole tomatoes or some bologna and eat them before I had my ice cream. I I had been working after supper at night before I went up to the store, and I was hungry. So just unique memories that, I could definitely remember. So maybe I'll come around here and show you. Before items were delivered in cardboard boxes, items were boxed up with wood. And you can see the black script here that would tell the shipper where to send the items to. And this one was going to R.P. Harvey, Center, Burlington. And you can smell this wood, and it's so old. It's really neat. Takes you right back through history. This sign here says, if you can take your time to read it, Brooklyn. So that was either going to or from Brooklyn. Sold, these are rat traps in the store. Right, let's see if I can, right here. We sold rubber boots, and you can see some rubber boots right there for a little child. And if you feel the rubber in these boots, it feels like they're brand new. And yet the stock would be, I don't know, I'm thinking maybe from the 40s. So good quality ingredients, good quality rubber. This is something interesting as well. We are selling raffle tickets on this. We're selling tickets. Here's the information on the sale. Going to be drawn for on August the 31st, so that's in just a few weeks' time. But this is a puzzle that was put together on our store, and every little tiny image has a little write-up about it on the inside. 513 pieces, and that's a good present as well if anyone is interested. So here's some children's blocks. They were made in Canada as well. And you'll notice there's no plastic packaging. Everything was wood, eventually cardboard, or pulp. And here is another potential Christmas present for some child. It's called the Atomic Flyer. And the directions for use on the side. Directions for use. Insert pistol cap in cup, then place feathered cup on top of cap. Extend arm and tap hammer lightly on a hard surface. Clean metal parts after use. Caution. Hold hammer away from face. I'm sure that children nowadays would not be able to have such an item to play with. So let's come over to the other side maybe. We sold everything. Sewing goods, I remember seeing bolts of fabric and snaps, buttons, thread, rickrack. We sold decorations for the household. And here is an item that I think is particularly interesting. I'll take one of these out. These are little wooden utensils for use at a picnic, say. And you can see the little scoop out of the fork and the spoon. And I often think that forest products, we could do more making things locally here as we did back then. Here's an item that we sold medicines as well. This is Thornton's syrup of white pine and tar. And it says, good for colds, coughs, hoarseness, bronchitis, whooping cough, croup, sore throat, and other lung troubles. That was manufactured in Cookshire, Quebec. And we had our ice cream counter. And when I was young, this was the scooper that we used. So this is the modern version of something that I'm going to show you next. These are ice scoopers, large size, small size. And what you did, I guess, was dip in, and then to dislodge the ice cream, you use this on the top to turn and get your ice cream out. Christmas decorations, again, you can see they were made in Canada, and this is snow, angel's hair. We sold fertilizers, and we sold various food supplements for animals. We brought in linoleum, and back then we called it oilcloth. So this is one of our ordering catalogs that we had. Beautiful designs. And then we also have down below you can see the picture of the old automobile. This item here, just move it so you can see, that was part of this here. You used these rubber patches. I think you lit a match, and the vulcanizing patch would seal to the hole in your rubber inner tube that was in your tire. So it's kind of ironic that, you know, of course, general stores would have to support the automobile, and yet the automobile, as Tyler was saying, was, you know, part and parcel of the demise of the general store. This is our penny candy exhibit. I remember when I was young, penny candies, when you gave the store owner a penny, you could get as many as like 5 little candies. And the candies were so unique. I think I remember once a little miniature cuckoo clock, and it was all kind of like a pepperminty thing, but really, really different. And so, of course, when the young children come into our exhibit, we will give them a penny, and we'll ask their parents, you know, if they would like to buy some candies. And of course, they don't know what pennies are nowadays. So, yeah, we'll come around maybe to this side. And you'll see some clothing items in here. Down on the bottom right, you'll see the Stanfield's underwear. So, clothing items, the red dots on this map actually show you where the majority of the items that came from many of the general stores in Nova Scotia were sourced from. So you can see Nova Scotia, New Brunswick, Southern Ontario, and Quebec. Nothing was imported from China. Maybe at that time not much was made in China for the retail industry. And that information that we use to create this map is on page 34 and 35 of Mike Parker's book. And again, I think that's one of his best books that he has written. I've read quite a few of them. And yeah. So, and lastly, I'll come out to the front and show you something. One of the things that I find quite interesting is how intensively the rural landscapes were used back in the 30s and 40s in our little community. This is Lower Burlington, this is Center Burlington right here. So that's a distance of what, only about 6 or 7 kilometers square maybe. And in this one little community, we had several stores that each store focused on a certain set of items. So for Chesley Sanford, it was sugar and bread, small items like that. Edward Smith, meat and eggs. You can see that here's the store where we used to run. We closed it in 1977, sold off the stock. And Harry Card had a store almost right next door, and he focused mainly on the automobile. He had a garage, and he sold gas. We sold gas as well. But we had a hall here, we had a wharf, we had a school, we had an abattoir, blacksmith shop, parsonage, there was a boarding house, post office was here, another hall, a church, and a ferry service, and another wharf, because we were located along the river. But that just goes to show you how different things are nowadays. Quite often I'll get in my car and drive for about 25 minutes, and that's where I will do all my shopping. So just a difference between now and then. And like I say, this book is quite hard to find because there just aren't that many bookstores around. But if you think you're in the market for it, it's a great little edition. It's packed with information. And he went all over Nova Scotia to research the book. So, yeah, that's our general store exhibit at this point.